you want to be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a
Welcome to Tales from the Field. We are back and better than ever. My name is Bradley Ball, and it is so good to have you with us. Last week, we had Nico Nurembauer, Senior Product Manager on the Azure SQL Managed Instance Product Group on Tuesday, and Bob Ward, Principal Program Architect for the Azure Data Product Group on Thursday. We talked about the new release wave for SQL Managed Instance. Bob talked about it and Nico talked about it. 14 different announcements from the past summit. Nico went into those in depth. We shared out blogs on how to be able to test those release waves in your dev test scenarios on our Thursday roundtable. We also covered SQL 2022, which is now generally available, and Bob Ward told us his favorite features. You don't want to miss a minute of those shows. Make sure that you go over to our U page and you watch those previous episodes. If this is your first time finding us, thank you for spending your time with us. Head over to YouTube, give us a like on this video, and also subscribe to our channel. Want to interact with the show? It's easy. Right now, you can head over to YouTube and you can comment on our stream. We are also streaming out of the Twitter accounts of Josh Ludeman, SQL Balls, Niraj Jafari, Tales from the Field, over on LinkedIn under SQL Balls. If you go over and you comment on one of those streams, one of my amazing co-hosts will find that and they may throw it up onto the screen and it'll be part of the show. And of course, before we go any further, let's introduce these co-hosts of mine. We have Andreas Padilla, Josh Ludeman, and he gives the best hugs, but only if you actually deserve them. The one, the only, Niraj Jafari. Andreas, you are hosting this week, buddy. What's the topic?
It is the importance of taking time off, because if you don't take time off, you can't showcase your talents. You got to be able to showcase your talents.
Ooh, I like that. It is. And we are in the right time of the year for that. I see our good buddy, Daniel Taylor. Wahoo, another week and another episode of Tales from the Field. Glad to have you with us, Dan. Good to see you out there, man. All right, let's see. So as if it couldn't get any better than that, we have joining us an amazing man, an amazing human being, Mr. Tim Chapman, Principal Cloud Solution Architect from Microsoft. He is a Microsoft Certified Master in SQL Server, an international conference speaker, maker of blackberry wine, delicious barbecue, and he has the epic Twitter handle of Chapman. Also owner of one of the best laughs I've ever heard, and you heard it right there. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I appreciate that intro, buddy. I'm doing great. I don't have any fancy announcements for any products today, so I'm just here for a chat.
Well, that's okay. It works out. This is perfect, because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, the importance of taking time off. And I know that's something that you're very passionate about and is very important to you as well.
It is. Over the years, I have not been as great as what I could have been with taking time off, and now I make sure that come end of year time, I don't leave any vacation on the table. And I have a partner that is very, very passionate about taking time off and vacations, so she forces my hand a lot of times into doing this. So
I was going to say she's exceptional. We actually had her on, and we found out that she is 100% Wonder Woman. I mean, she has the tiara and everything. It's brilliant. So Dan, Tim Chapman, you are fancy enough, Tim. You are.
I appreciate that, Dan.
And you're good enough, and you're pretty enough, and gosh darn it, people like you.
little reference, I love it.
Absolutely. So Andreas, congratulations on hosting duties. You are our host this week. How was your weekend, buddy?
It's a Festivus miracle that I'm hosting finally. And the weekend was a tough one. My wife got really sick, and my kids went Lord of the Flies on me. So they're a bunch of hyenas running around the house now. But other than that, I'm so happy that we're here at our fireside chat with Tim Chapman, and let's hit this topic whenever you get a chance, Brad.
No, I love it. Absolutely. Good stuff. So as the host, I was going to say,
that's right.
You have the duty of telling us the rules. What are the rules?
I have that duty. The rules are I give out points to whoever can spin the best weave that I've ever heard. If Josh has done it before. Brad, you are one of the best I've heard in the industry. And Raj, man, just if you just said one word, 1,000 points. Love it.
He moves
And
mountains.
Tim, I need your help distributing points. We can give 1 point, negative points.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Sounds good. As soon as I figure out what you just said, I'm happy to
What did I say?
I have no idea. I basically heard that Niraj can move mountains with one word, which is exceptionally true. He's like the Black Bolt of Marvel Comics, but here in the flesh. Niraj speaks and we're all blown away.
So I'm the winner.
Well, that's great news.
There you go.
I was going to say I got the Peter tingles right now. It's Spider-Man. Spider-Man, gosh.
At least you're not going to get disqualified, Brad.
Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, we got rid of those. That got out of hand for a little while. That was pretty rough.
You're very welcome.
Well, and Andreas, I'm sorry. I hope your wife is feeling better. All of this are kind of like going through the phases of this. I know I've had my daughter Serenity got sick, and then William got sick, turned into an infection, had to get antibiotics. Then Zachary got sick, and now Serenity is sick again. And Sue and I are both like, "You will not take me sickness." I have not yet caught it, and I feel like it's one of those things. I'm a week from vacation, and I'm like, if I am sick over this next 2-week period, it's not going to make any sense. But everybody's grounded. With
the troop of kids that you have, you probably have an incredible immune system at this point.
One would hope. Yeah, it's walking through the living room area is its own natural penicillin.
Or its own gambit.
Little bit. Yeah, Serenity set up shop on the couch, and I was texting Sue temperature details, all the stuff that you do on sick kids while she's at work. And she goes, and her first thing was a joke. She goes, "Okay, note to self, disinfect the couch later." It's like, yeah,
that's what I heard. That's what
I set a can of Lysol downstairs in the living room, and I put a note on it, and I was like, anybody who uses the TV remote, because Serenity's got it right now, you need to spray it down with Lysol first. Miles Morales or Peter Parker? I'm going Miles Morales all the way. I mean, first off, we haven't seen him in a movie other than the Spider-Verse, but he is exceptional. And I think he also
Dan's
has
getting back
invisibility and shock. So I'm going.
I think Dan's getting back to your Peter Tingles comment. Which Tingles is it?
Well, only Peter technically would have Peter Tingles, right? They would be Miles Tingles.
And that just isn't as impactful.
No. Yeah. I don't know.
Miles of Tingles.
I can sense the disappointment come just wafting off of Niraj. It's
wafting?
We're well.
He's upset with you for sure.
From over there. Yeah, he is. He's not. Niraj isn't happy about it. I'm glad he's Dan's
going to be really mad at you.
He's upset with you.
So, Tim, it is a busy time of year. We were just at Live 360 together. You did a great presentation on Postgres.
Thank you.
The subject today is taking time off, the importance of taking time off.
Yep.
You've had some amazing trips over the past year. What are your plans for the holidays? Maybe we should talk about some of these trips.
So no real trips planned for the holiday. Well, actually, we're going to go in January, visit some friends of ours out in Seattle. But other than that, just unplugging from work. Just built a workshop in my basement, so do some more work there and play with the new pup we have, our kitties. One of them's right over here being very lazy. That's about it. Just unplugging and just stay away from work for a couple weeks.
Yeah, speaking of the puppy, I love Mick, and I remember when you guys brought him home, and he was just this tiny little ball of fuzz. And then you shared this picture of him sitting on the couch with his front paws on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's a monster now."
He's a monster. He just keeps growing. Right now he's 9 months and about 87 pounds. Oh, wow. Jack, Jess's dog, is a big GSP, a German short-haired pointer, probably one of the bigger ones I've seen. But now, whenever we're on walks, Mick just dwarfs him. He's like 2 or 3 inches higher, like 6-8 inches longer. He's just huge.
Wow. So I have a video from your YouTube channel from earlier this year.
Okay.
And this is Angels Landing Part 1, right?
Yeah.
I'm
So
I'm
this
I'm
is
so why don't you like talk to us a little bit about this? I'm just going to put this to play in the background. I've got the audio down on it.
Yeah,
Um,
so this was kind of our way to break up the first part of the year and the second part of the year. So Jess and I took a trip out to Utah. We neither of us had been spend any time in Utah, so we rented a van, one of those that you can, like a sleeper van, and just drove across the state. Saw some very interesting things. And Jess, I had mentioned this, or maybe Jess had mentioned this to me, and it's one of those things out there where it's a trek. So this Angel's Landing is you're looking at about an hour hike just to get to this point, and then you have another hour up and back.
wow.
And so it was fun to do. It is not for the faint of heart
I was
because
going to say I'm going to pause this real quick because I don't know if people realize that that's a road right
yeah,
down there.
it's
Like that.
1,800 feet down on either side. And I think
Ooh.
20 or so people have died over the years. They made it so that you have to actually apply for a lottery to get a chance to do it because they want to limit the amount of people that are up there. Because I think a lot of the time that's what caused people falling. Then stupid people taking selfies also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see how this would definitely trim down the
But if you can see,
crowd.
like right there, all the way up at the top of that arch in front of you, that
Yeah.
is where we're headed.
Okay, so let me.
Now, if you can do that
Oh
trek in
yeah.
penny loafers, more power to you, man.
I didn't see
see,
anybody
I
in
see
penny
that.
loafers.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's right over here. This is where you're talking about. I'm gonna wait till you look up. Oh yeah, this is the part. This is the part where somebody passes you. So here's the thing. I'm afraid of heights, right? I don't let that stop me. Like when I get really, really scared of something, I don't know why, but it makes me angry and I have to overcome it.
Yeah.
And so I've gone bungee jumping. I've not gone skydiving. That's an eventual plan. My wife has gone skydiving. I
I would
love
do
roller
skydiving for
coasters.
sure. Yeah.
Skydiving is
But
fun.
but it's like I can't fully overcome it. It's a fear that's in there. When
Yeah.
I go and put the star on the top of the Christmas tree, my hands get sweaty, and it's only like a 6'5" Christmas tree. So I'm like up this high to be able to
Right.
do it. And
Oh.
so just watching this, I want you to know that I'm standing here at my desk, like with my hands gripped on the table. Like-
One of the
like-
coolest things, whenever we first got into Salt Lake City, we were driving through, and I forget where we were going on our first stop, but we were driving past the Plural Site headquarters. And I just remember that because big plural sign on the side. But what was cool is in the background, there's a big ledge, and people were paragliding off of that.
Oh,
And there was
wow.
an entire sky full of them. It was really cool. There's probably 20 people in the sky just on these big parachutes, just going back and forth. It was really cool.
Yeah,
This is where
one
it's
of
really
those.
intense. So this
Yeah,
part here is
not for the faint of heart.
that
Oh
one
yeah,
about
that's.
got me.
Well, and I
I got to
remember.
tell you, like I know exactly how slippery my hands would be on those chains because I feel it right now.
Well, I remember in the pre-show when we were talking about this video, Tim, you said, well, it takes about a minute to get into it. So I was looking at it on my screen, got about 15 seconds in and saw that first drop off. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty much soiling my pants right now in 15 seconds. I don't even need to get to the minute. I'm already on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
You mentioned the slippery hands, but there is nothing in this world that could have got my hand off of that chain at that point in time.
No, me neither.
No.
I
Nothing.
hear you.
Yeah, yeah. That is your lifeline at that point. And that's the thing is these little sections. Okay, I'm glad to see somebody up there crawling because literally I would be on my hands and knees. I think the most death-defying thing that I've ever had to do before. I went to school at Western Carolina University over in Cullowhee, North Carolina. Great place, mountains, love it. I've gone rappelling. I've done small mountain climbing, not enough that we needed to like spend the night on the side of a mountain or anything like that, but just stuff that we could do within a couple hours. And I remember once we went across, there was a in Cullowhee, there's the old movie The Fugitive that Harrison Ford was in.
Yeah.
And you remember the scene with the train where it hits, I think, the truck and it derails. That was filmed there, and the train is still on its side off of those railroad tracks. And because of that, that track and the train system were actually abandoned, which is part of the reason they filmed and they did the stunt there.
Okay.
So we walked across the railroad track to get to the tunnel, and oh my goodness, it was. I actually had to have two people on either side of me help me because like. Going across the train slats, and I want to say we were a good 60 feet up above the water because we're going from one side of the ledge to like a train tunnel that's carved inside of a mountain. And I just froze. I want to say 2/3 out there. And if I hadn't had people there to get me moving, I don't know that I physically could have. So I'm watching this and I'm just like the gaps. It's like when the chain stops, that's when I start to get fearful.
Yeah, there was
like,
a lady
"Ooh."
up there just attached to a tree. I was like, "Are you going ahead? You okay?" She's like, "Nope."
So she's my spirit animal. Got it.
Good luck, lady.
Sinduber eats here. This
Yeah.
is where I live now.
Just drop a pin. Drop a pin.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a great experience. I would do it again just because it was fun. And once you get over that initial first shock of, well, it's about the first 10 minutes, then you're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm not gonna fall. I probably won't fall.
That's good. It probably like there's a point in time that the adrenaline just like probably reaches a flat line, and you're like, okay, we're just going to stay right here. I'm good as long as I
Funny
keep
you
moving
say
forward.
flat line. I'm pretty sure I would have flatlined.
I mean, the toughest part. I mean, once you get used to the height, it's actually the hike. I mean, there's a lot of work there to get up to that point.
Absolutely.
Fun, though.
So, a question for Dan: do you prefer long weekend vacations, or a mixture of both? Long week vacations, or both?
Typically, I actually really like a long weekend because then, like for me, if I'm off and I'm going to be off for 2.5 weeks here to finish out the year, I get kind of bored after a while. And so long weekends are nice because it allows you to have a generally at least one short week, and it's pretty easy to recharge. And you can usually get a few of those into your schedule, and it's a lot easier than taking a full week sometimes.
So I got a question, and we can just go around the group and answer this. But what about you, Josh and Andreas and Niraj? Because I'm curious to your answers. Long week or long weekend?
So I'm with Tim. I like the long weekend. I think when you start to get, to Tim's point, yeah, we're all going to be taking off weeks at the holidays and stuff like that and time off. I think I'm around 2.5 or 3 weeks myself, and I'm, looking at it going, am I going to get bored? Probably. My actual bigger concern than yours, Tim, is, oh crap, I have to come back. So after 3 weeks, getting yourself mentally back in the groove after that long off, and you're like, oh, I could be still sitting on my couch drinking coffee, or
how many of these emails can I just delete?
Yeah, exactly. exactly. And so, yeah, that's actually why I either like the long weekends or just a week off. Like once I get past a week, it's like coming back is going to be problematic.
Yeah.
Is hell. Andres, what about you?
Ooh, I agree with you. Same thing. I took paternity leave when my 2-year-old was born, and coming back was brutal. Even I love the paternity leave. You want that paternity leave, but when I came back, I was just like, "What? How do you do this job?" And I just took a week off, for Thanksgiving, and you come back, and on Monday I was, just going through all this, and you lose that rhythm. And I like keeping the rhythm mentally going in my head, and because you have all these things that are lined up, you have a sequence going on in your head, you have a flow, and taking more than 2 weeks off, it's great. You want to disconnect because it helps you perform at your best. If you don't feed yourself, you will not perform at your best. But I think it's a trade-off or a balance between taking too much time off and then making sure you don't lose that that professional edge. When you're playing in a World Cup final, you'll lose that edge really quick if you don't play or touch the ball.
World Cup.
Raj?
Oh.
So I prefer, same as you guys, a long weekend is better, but I also prefer to have at least a week when you take a vacation, right? I mean, I don't want to rush up and get things done in 3 days where you can relax and have a good vacation, get it done. So probably like 4 to 5 days is what I would prefer to do it. Not like 2 weeks. That's definitely overkill. I would say coming back is going to be hard to work.
Yep.
I think I'm going to agree with the consensus. I really enjoy a nice long weekend, a 4-day, 5-day weekend. I think that's really, really great. However, I think it depends on the activity, right? One of the things, I didn't take a cruise ever in my life until 2018 when I got married to Sue.
Never been on one.
Well, and here's what I'll tell you. I surprisingly have found I enjoy them. But my second cruise, I actually locked into the pattern because I've talked to a lot of people that go, oh, they're so crowded, or oh, it's so noisy, or this and that. And what I have found is the key to enjoying a cruise, and I love a good week-long cruise, 4 or 5 days. After that, it's like I think I start to want to get off the boat. I don't know that I want to do it for too long. But what I look at is the spa. To me, the spa is essential. And the reason I say this is, we went to a couple hotels and we did relaxing weekends where we would just do a spa and we would get massages, have a nice time, and they'd have a good spa.
Did you get your toes done?
Yeah, why not? A little bit of color. Garrett, as a matter of fact, Gareth was always big on that.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, before he got married over in South Africa, he showed us a picture of his toes getting painted red, and he goes, a little pop of color for the big day, boys. I loved it. I was like, oh yeah,
that's great.
To be fair, that was something Gareth and I were in lockstep on. A good pedicure. Oh yeah, don't need paint. Can even do, if anything, the most I did was a clear coat.
Yeah, you a high gloss type of guy?
Yeah. Oh,
I got you. Yeah.
So the cruise I went on though, they had, I
like it when they sparkle.
Vast spa. I'm talking. They had, think of the size of a basketball court, one half of a basketball court. They had this giant heated thermal spa that had jets in there that you could get in. It had a waterfall. I started every morning in that place. It was supposed to be a quiet area. If people came in there and got rowdy, they would literally send staff in and be like, you have to leave. They only sold a subset of the number of spas for the people in the cruise. So it wasn't like everybody on the cruise could get in there. You had to buy it like day one.
Oh, nice.
And they had 2 steam rooms. They had 2 saunas. They had an ice room. They had a dry salt room. They had teas and waters and all these little things. So you could go up there, read a book. And it was and it sat on top of the captain's perch. So you had this gorgeous 360-degree view of the front of the ship and the water and everything. So, and when I got out, that was actually I went to a website that ranked cruise by their spas. That was number 8 on the list out of the top 10. And I went, they get better.
What cruise lines do you use?
That one was Norwegian. It was the Epic. And it lived up to its name. It was epic.
I haven't done a lot of research on cruises. So I don't know what is top of the line and what's not.
I gotta tell you what, we want to do another cruise. We should all talk about this because this could be a group activity.
Sure.
We'll get Tim to get his toast done.
Hey, I think between Brad and I, we've pretty much cruised the major players, and yeah, we've got some good feedback, I think, on all of them.
Which one is the best?
I mean,
far in my book, I'm going Norwegian.
Really?
Which one's the worst?
Yeah. I haven't done enough to be able to tell you that, but from what I have heard, I think I would be less likely to go on a Carnival cruise.
I can vouch for that.
But I think it's based off what you're looking for, right? 20-year-old party college Brad would love a Carnival cruise. That would straight up be the angle that I'm going for. In his 40s, I want to go to sleep between 11:30 and 10:30. I want a spa to wake up to in the morning. My bones creak, and I want to relax and be comfortable, eat good food, and drink good drinks. I'm going Norwegian.
Yeah.
I did Disney also. Disney was good too. I mean, this was when the kids were small.
Oh, they're exceptional. I
Yeah,
love
that's
Disney, but their spas are not as good as Norwegian. It's
Mhm.
great for a family. It's really great if you have younger kids. But I'll be honest, if you said me and Sue get to go on a cruise and we get to go anywhere and it's paid for, I would probably go Norwegian over Disney just because of the spa. All right. So, Andreas,
let's
do
hit
you
this.
want to?
I
Yeah,
would
let's
love
go
to
for
go
it, buddy.
through round robin of what you guys think. What does taking time off mean to you guys? Why is it important? Why do we need as engineers to do it? What is your approach to taking time off? Josh, go. Lightning round.
Rule number one, you've got to unplug, right? You've got to walk away. Now, if you enjoy still work, like in our roles, you still enjoy working with tech, that's fine, but you disconnect from the work side of it. So for me, like, I'm not getting in and doing, performance tuning SQL Server, but I'll turn over here to my workshop table and maybe I'll put together some sensors for IoT collection around the house and
Nerd.
things like that. So, because I still enjoy tech, but I make sure it's in no way, shape, or form connected to work. That's it.
Oh, geeking out on vacation time. Nothing wrong with that. Niraj, top that, buddy.
So for me, it definitely improves my productivity and focus. When I take a break off, gives me something to focus on something else rather than just be on the same routine life that I'm having it right now. So definitely improves it up. And the other thing is you come back with a different thought process, right? I mean, you even though you have not thought about work at all, when you come back, it's a different thing that you come start working on to it, and that's what helps me out to take a time off.
I'm more of a Zen mode, dude. I love it. Brad, bring this home, man. See if you can get
Yeah,
the podium.
So I look at this, the importance of taking time off, and it's philosophical to me because I've had some really hard jobs before. When I was working in DC for Obama, one of the tough things was because of the importance of the office, every troubleshooting call, no matter what happened, if it had to do with technology, you were on there. And so I had nights where I would literally, you'd wake up at 4, you do your commute into DC, you'd work your full day, you'd get home, you'd still be on that trouble call, walk into your office, get out at night, go and heat up your plate of dinner, go to bed, get woken up in the middle of the night with an on-call something or other. Then you try and go back to sleep, wake back up back at 4. In that job pushed the boundaries so hard on what I could actually do as a human being that it made me realize the importance of taking time off. And so when I came to Microsoft, one of the things that I loved was I had a boss, Neil Sutton, great boss. And when I got here, he goes, "Look, you're brilliant. We hired you for a reason, but you have to keep in mind there's like 500 people here that can do what you do. So it's important that you take time off." And I got a big family calendar that's actually right behind the screen right here. It's got everything important to the family. And I've got, vacations and everything listed. And when work comes up, I tell people, hey, keep in mind, I'll be gone during this time. The first time you do that, it's really scary. And I remember doing that with a customer who was very insistent. They wanted January, and that's my birthday month, my son's birthday month, plus we had some kid school stuff going on. And I said, I can't do that. I got to do February. And Tim, we were talking in the pre-show, and Tim said this rightly. He goes, there's no such thing as a training emergency. And I took all the notes and I said to the customer, I said, great, I can't do it. I'm going to take this to a colleague. They'll be able to help you out. Well, no. We want you. That's great. And I'm available in February. Well, we have to have it in January, right? Which is why I'll take it in a colleague, and that colleague will be able to help you out. But we want you. And it went circular like that. It was a long call of negotiation. But finally, after 45 minutes, they go, you know what? We can do this in February. And nobody died. Nothing went wrong. They still achieved all the goals that they needed to. And it didn't help, right? Because you'll have all kinds of internal pressures too. Microsoft, we have technical account managers. That account manager was pinging me constantly on chat. Why can't you do this? Why are you being so difficult? And when the customer caved, and then the customer was super.
That's when it's time to have a talk with that CSAM. You're like,
yeah,
listen here.
Yeah, calm down. But it's also good to have that manager support to help you realize, hey, the world is not going to die if I say no to this. and I make sure that I've got that time for my mental health. So I think I have had people who have the exact same job as me in Microsoft that I've heard had a miserable experience at that job. But when I went, talk to me about what you did, talk to me about what it was like, they didn't set up those boundaries or those guardrails. They said yes to everything, and consequently they got led by the nose instead of going, nope, I need this.
It means a whole lot to have great onboarding, a great manager that will do that for you, give you those tips. Because if you don't have that, then it can be irksome.
Yeah, it's all about creating that culture. But I think that one of the key things is people have to understand you have to stand up for yourself, that you have to draw a line in the sand. And it's scary that first time you do it, but I swear to you, the world will not end because you went, nope, this is my boundary and I'm not going to go past it.
Oh, I love it, Brad. Man, way to pull out my heartstrings. What poem is that from? James Joyce?
Keats.
Oh, I have Keats. I have no idea. I was literally just going off the cuff.
Brought a tear to my eye. Oh, I have my winner, Tim. Who do you think? Who do you think we give the immunity idol to this week?
He's the one who's going to work.
Brad. I'm going to give it to Brad also because Brad stuck it to the man. No one, everybody loved,
That's right.
To the man and say,
Suck it, man.
Suck it.
Not you, Ludeman. Yeah. I said, man.
I was going to say, I just assumed I was the one when, stuck it to the man, with all the times you say, suck it, Ludeman, I figured it was just coming right to me. So I'm sitting there going, why is Andres getting on the bandwagon?
Is this some sort of reference to wrestling and Degeneration X?
Oh, it could be.
I show my age there a little bit.
No, but it could
That's
be
right.
from that guy.
Brad, congratulations, my friend. You win.
One thing,
you have the immunity idol.
Thank you.
Josh, Tim brought a point. What does managers do, right? That's one thing that you.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, what do managers do right? I mean, I feel like
You
that's a
and
biblical
I will,
level question.
Let me give Josh a compliment here, okay? Because I will say this, as a manager, Josh is fantastic. His hats are also fantastic. Yeah, I've got a lot of nice things to say about Josh. We talked about what we were thankful for.
Brad, you've already done your connect. You don't have to be doing this right now.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, goodbye, everybody. No, no, but seriously, Josh was right. Neil Sutton, when he said that to me as my manager, gave me permission to say no. And Josh has continued that culture. And Tim, you're not wrong. The experience you have at a job can largely be influenced by a manager. If a manager goes, hey, take time off, but then 3 days later, they're like, hey, I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need this, and maybe you can't
People
take that
quit
time
managers,
off.
not companies, generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And to be fair, you gave me the kudos for it, but that was exactly what I did. I stole from Neil's book coming in. Is I was like, that meant so much to me, and that support, that I wanted to continue that on for others.
So Dan says Josh is the bestest manager.
Stop. This is not what this is supposed to be about.
Dan, today. As Tim said, we've already done the connects, buddy. Save it for next time.
And to add more to Josh's excellent managerial skills, he's vigilant about the team's workload. The managers that surround us, they're very vigilant about our workload, and they make sure that we keep a well-balanced lifestyle. But like Brad said earlier on, it's more our responsibility. It's important that the managers, know what you're doing, so they can be like, you got to step back a little bit. This is too much. You're not sleeping, but it's on you to say no. And
I love how you said that, because you're right. We the individual worker have to be the person that says no, because if we don't say no, no one else is going to do it for us. No one else is going to go, I got to make it to my kid's birthday or to my kid's baseball game. That's not on their family calendar. It should be on your family calendar, and you own that responsibility. And that's the scary thing. When you do that, people respect you for it. They understand that there's a line, and they will work around it. That's also, we'll talk about soft skills eventually, but one of the things I love, one of my favorite books, it talks about how we get to the objective. And if you focus on that, how you get to the objective, how we get the thing done, not the conflict, then you can also help steer that conversation as well. But you take that time.
Highly recommend David Pless as a guest for soft skills.
David Pless for soft skills is the man for the show.
Oh,
Yes.
I like that. That's some high
So-
praise right there.
David,
It's,
if you're listening, the invite's out there.
He's not
I
out
will
of
reach
bed
out-
yet. It's only 1:30 Eastern, so he's
That's fair. He sleeps in a bed.
well,
He works late.
Casket, bed, same difference.
yeah.
Okay. Well, tree. You never know. Depends on the wildlife. All right. So,
Indeed.
thank you for the win. A quick reminder to everybody: we've got our community roundtable on Thursday. We will be covering your community content. Next Tuesday, we have a very special guest as we go into the last broadcasting week that we'll be doing of the year. We're going to have some really cool stuff lined up for you. Interviews that we took at Live 360 that will drop for the last 2 weeks of the year. We may have some other fun stuff as well that we're working on behind the scenes. But I'm going to go ahead and announce it now because I think it's really cool. A special guest joining us next Tuesday will be none other than Mr. Guy in a Cube himself, Mr. Adam Saxton.
Oh, Adam.
Absolutely.
Ask him about all of his dogs.
Oh, his dogs.
Oh.
Yes.
You like dogs?
Oh my!
That's a-
You like
Yeah,
dogs?
that was on my list.
He's got a lot of them.
That's solid. Well, I was going to say, you're right up there with the dogs and the cats, buddy. I love it so often.
Not in the same league as him.
Really?
I
sure you-
mean,
Oh.
a zoo is in the same league as Adam. Let's
Yeah.
let's be clear.
How many does he have?
I don't even know.
I guess
total
we'll
how
have to
many,
ask
but
him.
they're so varied.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. We will figure that out. All right. So, gentlemen, anything else we need to cover?
No, thanks for having me.
Tim, thank you so much
you.
for joining us, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah,
Talk to you
appreciate
soon.
it.
Thank you, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Take care,
Be good to
everybody.
one another.
Make it, set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration, and if